Good morning and welcome to a week in March vlogs. I know you didn't get one in February, which, February just kind of went by in a blur of all kinds of things. So yeah, there was no weekly vlog series in February, but I'm going to attempt to do one in March. I am in the midst of prepping for a yarn show in 2 weeks' time, East Anglia Yarn Fest, which is down in Norwich. So it's chaos, but why not add to the chaos and give you a weekly vlog as well? We'll see. It's going to be a bit hit and miss as to when things get uploaded, because the likelihood of me managing to get everything edited and uploaded on the same day this week is minimal, but I will do my best. I'm also recording a podcast today, so I'll have quite a lot of editing, but I also have a lot of stripes to wind and yeah, lots of time consuming things to do. So the vlogs might be a little bit hit and miss. You might get the first one on Wednesday, for example, but we'll see how time goes. At the moment it is Monday. I actually don't know what the date is. Is it the 15th? The 14th. Monday the 14th of March. I have got yarn in the pans heating up. It takes about 15 minutes for the pans to heat up. So I'm just trying to get the rest of the yarn prepped. So I've got one batch prepped for the second. So basically, in a day, I work during a school day. So I get kind of 9 till 3 dyeing time, basically, and I can usually get 3 batches done, and for me 3 batches is 4 pans, so it varies slightly depending on the colourway as to how much yarn is in a pan, so how much yarn is in a batch in total. But I'm dyeing clubs today, so I won't be able to actually show you the yarn, unfortunately, but there will be stuff I can show you later in the week, because a lot of it's going to be East Anglia yarn dyeing, which is not secret. So yeah, I've got one batch that went into soak before I took the kids to school this morning, so that is now in the pans. I've got another batch ready to go into soak. Takes about half an hour to soak, and a full colourway takes about an hour. So it's there you go, just giving you some information there. So yeah, I need to get the final batch on to soak is what I'm trying to say. So I just need to get that prepped, basically. But yeah, other than that, today, as I said, I need to podcast. I also need to wind stripes. So I'm going to get this yarn into soak. Hopefully then I will be able to get the dye on, and then hopefully I'm going to podcast while the first batch is setting the first half of the colour as such. And then I will be able to get some stripes wound for the rest of the day. But yeah, I was going to have a chat today, I think, about just prepping for shows in general, because I thought it would be interesting. It might not be. We'll see. Hopefully it will be. Right, first batch of yarn is on. I have half an hour. I need to podcast. So I just need to tidy up and sort things out so that I can podcast. I've got my show notes already, so that's good. It's going to be a relatively short episode this week because I have got a few finished objects. You'll probably see the podcast before you see the vlogs, so I don't know why I'm saying this. I have got a few finished objects, but I've not worked on much more than what I finished. So I don't have finished objects and works in progress and other stuff to share. So we'll see. I need to set up my boxes, which are what I put my camera on to give me the right amount of height for while I'm podcasting. Yeah, nearly there. I'm going to grab a quick drink and I'm going to dig out all of the things I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to sit down and record. I am in a slight stage of panic which I'm sure will become a theme this week, because 2 weeks before a yarn show there's a lot to do and there's not enough hours in the day to do it all. Yeah, always. This is a slightly odd skein. What am I doing? Yarn is all cooking and everything like that. I think I've said that already. It's been a few hours for me since I last recorded anything, whereas obviously for you it's been like milliseconds. But I can't remember what I'd recorded and what I hadn't. I am just getting started on today's stripe winding because I knew I was going to be recording the podcast today. I obviously gave myself a lower quota as such of stripes to wind. I'm not sure that's quite the right term, but it's what I'm going to go with. A lower quota of stripes to wind. But I do still need to get some done this afternoon. I had like admin-y tasks to do. I still have some admin-y tasks to do. I still need to send out a couple of invoices to people, which I'm already late doing. I hate getting late with things, but you know when it just gets to that point and you're like, right, I need to do that, and then something else happens, and then a child needs you, and then there's a weekend and you have to do stuff as a family. I need to send those invoices today. Anyway, I needed to do another yarn order because I'm missing just, it's only a small yarn order, but it's still, what do I need? With the Easter boxes, there were a couple of bases that I was just a tiny bit short on, so I just needed to grab a kilo here and there of a few different yarn bases. But that's done. I also, I'm doing an advert in the East Anglia Yarn Fest show guide. So I needed to knock that up quickly this morning. Thank goodness for Canva, one of the best programs ever created on the internet for small businesses, because you can create your own everything. I use it for my business cards, I use it for all my flyers, I use it for all my club images. I was able to use it for this ad image as well, and yeah, so I've done that. I've sent all that off. I've also had to send off my risk assessment and my insurance details, all of that kind of stuff for the show. These are all the little admin-y tasks that you don't really think about that goes into prepping and doing all this stuff for a show, not just all the yarn. But yeah, I was going to talk, wasn't I, about yarn show prepping and prepping for yarn shows in general. It's quite an interesting thing, because for me, I find that the thing with a yarn show is that you have to have enough that your stall looks nice, looks full, and is kind of aesthetically pleasing. I use grid wall, which means I need to dye enough yarn to fill grid wall, which can be an issue, because normally I wouldn't keep that much yarn in stock, but I have to dye quite a lot for a show. And I won't necessarily sell it all. I will come back from shows with quite a lot of stock. That often happens, and I expect it to happen. But that's where you have to be quite careful about well, certainly for me, I'm quite careful about planning what I take with me. I'm quite careful about working out how much I can afford to take with me. Because there is no point in spending far too much money on stock for a show, only to then not sell any of it. But yeah, it's hard to strike a balance. It's definitely hard to strike a balance. I have to plan really thoroughly as well, especially with things like stripes, because of just the time it takes to do them. And also, and I've spoken about this before, I need to be quite careful with stripes, because it's easy for me to try and do too many and then get overwhelmed and then hate every minute of it. So I have to kind of space it out. So I was planning to take 70, well, it would have been nearly 100 stripes by the time I did 50 gram and 100 gram balls. So it would have been 70 skeins I would have dyed. But with COVID hitting us, I lost time. So I'm now planning on taking about 50 skeins, which should work out at around 70 stripes in total, which is the most I've ever taken for a show. 50 has been my limit so far, so 50 actual balls of self-striping has been my limit so far. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, I'm hoping that that means I'll come back from the show with a bit more that can then go online, because often the stripes sell very well at the show and then I don't have any to go online, which is always a shame for those of you that can't make it to the show. But yeah, as I said, I'm taking a new collection. So I am dyeing up 5 of the colours from the Grimm's Fairy Tale Club from last year. And releasing those as a new collection. They will be available online after the show as well. I'm taking the Narnia collection with me. I'm taking the Winnie the Pooh collection with me. I want to take all my collections, but I can't, because although I've got quite a big stall for this show, I can't dye that much stock. I can't afford to dye that much stock and take that much with me. But it's, you know, it's those decisions, it's making those decisions that's the trickiest thing. I am rambling away. I hope you enjoy a rambly vlog, because that's what you're going to get for day 1 today. But yeah, prepping for a yarn show and planning for a yarn show are both quite difficult, complicated things to do, and I kind of feel like I'm slowly getting a handle on it, even though I've been doing shows for probably 3 or 4 years now. Oh look, that's a good time to stop talking to you, because that's telling me I need to go back to my yarn. But yeah, I've been doing shows for 3 or 4 years, 4 years probably, and I still don't have a handle. I still never know quite what I want to take. And now my laptop is talking to me too. I'm gonna go.
If there is something we need, it's a leap of faith. A step away from the comfort zone and be a little brave. So take a look around you. How far can you see? How far do you think you can run, standing on your knees? It's a beautiful world out there, just don't pass on the dare. If you have the will and a moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there. It can be a bit frightening, something you don't know. You need a little enlightening, it'll make you grow. It's a beautiful world out there, just don't pass on the dare. If you have the will and a moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful